Hi, we're going to get started in just a minute. Just wanted to make sure we're actually live before I go. So today's video is going to be on signs from loved ones in the spirit realm. And this video actually pertains to both our animal companions on the spirit realm and our human loved ones in the spirit realm. So we're going to be, all of the things I'm going to be sharing apply to both. So I've made a list so I don't forget any of the ones that I really want to cover. And if you happen to be listening to this, I'm going to ask you to not only subscribe, like, send me some hearts, whatever, but I'm also going to ask if you would post below some of the signs that you've received from loved ones in the spirit realm, whether it be an animal companion or a human loved one. So one of the first things that I want to share is that oftentimes we'll see a rainbow. Our animal companions or human loved ones in spirit realm will often send us a rainbow to let us know they're okay. I have had clients who have told me they have seen a rainbow when their dog crossed over and then they were going to the cremation place or different things like that, or had to drive somewhere and their dogs or horse sent them a rainbow. So really just a confirmation that yes, I'm okay, everything's well. Another really, hi Melanie, another really nice thing that our animal companions do and our loved ones, humans, it's interchangeable, okay, is send us feathers. I had one client, I've had many clients who have shared this with me, but one of my clients had a horse, and whenever she was going out into the barn or out of her door, her horse who had been in spirit always sent her feathers. And you'll find them in the most unique and unusual places, which is another way we can know that, wow, these are from spirit. Or we'll find like a really unique feather that normally we wouldn't see where we found it, that kind of thing. But that is something that happens a lot. Our animals can send us, animal companions in the spirit realm, or humans can send us hearts. Hearts can come in many ways. You may see a heart rock. You may actually receive a heart. You may see a cactus. I'm in Arizona, and when I go hiking, sometimes I see a cactus prickly pear in the shape of a heart. They could send you a heart in the sky, so you just happen to look up and there's a heart in the sky, in the clouds. But don't limit it to just that. You might see a heart in your cereal in the morning. You might see a heart on the plate when the waitress brings your meal to you at a restaurant. Really, it's amazing because we can really see hearts all over the place. And I mentioned the heart rocks. You might just find rocks shaped like hearts everywhere. Beings in spirit often use hearts. Another way that beings in spirit come to us is through birds. You know, they show me in all of my sessions with the afterlife that they really are soaring and they're free, and maybe that's why they use the image of a bird. But you know, I've had clients say that they've had, hi Robin, I've had clients say that they had a really unusual bird just sitting on their windowsill and chirping away until they really acknowledged them and spoke to them and said, you know, hi Dad, or hi, Jigs, or whatever, if it was an animal companion. And then once they made themselves clear that they were here for their visitation, they were free to go. I've had birds in all kinds of different ways. Sometimes you'll just see a bird soaring in the sky and you'll know that it's them. Really, the piece that's most important here is that you know somewhere in your heart that this is your loved one, animal or human, coming back with a message for you from spirit. Okay, and when Jigs crossed over back in 2007, Jigs is my beloved golden retriever, who's kind of behind. He's one of the main guides in all of my trainings that I offer now. And when Jigs crossed over, my parents knew he was close to crossing, but they didn't know exactly yet that he had. However, and they were up at a cottage in Ontario, and at the time I was in British Columbia. I'm now in the Sedona area. But I phoned them because the cottage they were renting had a phone, and I phoned them to let them know that jigs had crossed, and they had been out on a walk, they told me, and they were looking at the birds, and a bird appeared that they had never seen before, a species they'd never seen before, and they couldn't even find it in the books. And meanwhile, it was Jigs, going to see them and, send them the message that he was okay. And as soon as I told my mom, she knew that that bird that she had seen was Jigs. So it was kind of neat. They also sometimes come in butterflies. You might have a butterfly land on you or flying around you or hang around your home or your backyard or whatever, wherever you may be. And you may just get the sense that that butterfly is your loved one in spirit coming to communicate with you. And butterflies are an interesting symbol of transformation. They start off as a caterpillar, they go through that metamorphosis, and they transform. And what better symbol than our loved one sending us a message like that from the spirit realm, because they've gone through a huge transformation. Sometimes you may see coins. Like they leave feathers for us, they can also leave coins, and they may be pennies, they may be quarters, they may be nickels, they may be dimes. If you're lucky, maybe they'll be dollars, dollar coins, silver dollars, even better. So they will leave coins for you in unusual places. So you will start to really know that whenever you see that coin, maybe it's a penny on the ground, and whenever you find a penny on the ground, that is a little message from your loved one in spirit. Another thing that can happen is you'll see repetitive numbers as a sign from them that they're communicating with you. So you might see 1111, you might see 444 or 777, that kind of thing. So that is another way they can come to you. Another thing is, someone just made a comment that I have a crow I see in here every day for the past week. I've been told it means death. I mean, that is some people's suspicion, but a crow could be a loved one in spirit connecting with you. It's really, what's most important is, what does that crow mean to you, Melanie, and what information can you get from that crow? What impressions, what feelings? Really tune in deeply, and you'll get a better idea. It could be an animal totem for you, and it might just be bringing crow energy to you to help you with whatever it is that you're working on right now. Another one that is great is cloud formations in general. I mean, I did mention that under the heart category, but you could see cloud formations of a dog, a cat, an angel. When Jigs crossed over, I was leaving, he crossed over on September 10th, which was my parents' wedding anniversary actually, in 2007. And I was getting ready to leave in a short time to go down to Arizona for the winter, because I was in Canada then, and I wanted to spend the winter in Arizona. And Jigs, when I left I was renting. I rented a place with no stairs, so that I was right on the coast, and it was hard to find places without stairs because the land goes, up away from the ocean. So I found a place with no stairs that Jigs could live in for a while, and I gave up my apartment that I was renting at the time, and I was preparing to drive down to Arizona. The first night I was stopping at a friend's place, and then from there I was leaving to go to Arizona. And when I was leaving my place, as I was driving down to the friend's place, what was really amazing was Jigs literally put a huge image of an angel up in the sky. And I guarantee you, when I looked at it, I said, nobody else who looks at this from any perspective would be able to know it was an angel. It just happened to be right from my perspective, right where I was. And it was definitely Jigs, 100% a message from me. So always look for those. And then when I got to Arizona, let's say 4 days later or whatever it was, 3 days later, as I was driving from Utah into Arizona, I looked up and there was smoke from some prescribed burns, because they do that to prevent danger during forest fire. And as I was driving from Utah into Arizona, which was where my heart home is, I saw another angel. It was more fairy-like than angel-like, but I knew, again, it was from Jigs. And Jigs had made that trek many times with me. Another one is a license plate. You can actually get a sign on a license plate. And I have a student who lost her animal companion, and within the year one day she posted, she happened to see a license plate in front of her when she was driving, and it said CUNHVN, so it was see you in heaven. And I mean, that was a message from her dog directly to her, even though the person who put that on their car did it for their own reasons. When you come across something like that, when you're grieving or you're missing your animal companion, as soon as you see that, you know in your heart and soul that it's a message for you as well. Another way our animal companions and our loved ones in general, human as well, can send us signs from spirit realm is through electricity. And I've completely experienced this. When Jigs crossed over, I remember I was talking to my mom on the phone, and it was, you know, kind of reminiscing and missing him, and I was sad, but we were kind of laughing about some of his funny quirks, and he was very quirky and had many unique traits, and we were talking about some of them, and I was on my phone, and I was walking from my living room through the dining room into the kitchen. And as I did that, my dining room light fixture had 5 lights in it. And 2 of the lights were going on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, like 5 times. 2 of the 5. And that was really weird because those bulbs didn't burn out. So I went, oh wow, Jigs is here. He's sending me this, signal. And the funny thing is, I gave that place up, as I mentioned earlier in the video. And I came down to Arizona and rented a place in Arizona initially. And as soon as I got there, that right after the cloud formation situation, that place had, again, a dining room light fixture with 5 lights. And when I first got there, the first or second day, 2 of the lights out of 5 went off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on 5 times. Again, so again, it was Jigs. It was like basically the whole way driving down here, he was very much assuring me that he was with me, and he still lived on in spirit. I mean, I knew that, but he was giving me all these signs. Another way that you can receive information from loved ones in spirit is through our dreams. And this is a really important way. And sometimes the reason we receive the information in our dreams is because if we're either A, trying too hard, or B, excuse me, B, we're in so much grief that we're not able to see or just acknowledge or see or be able to be open enough to receive the messages from spirit, then sometimes the animals or the beings that want to come to us from spirit will come in our dream time. Just because our resistances are down, our guard is down, the veils are thinner, they can connect with us better that way. So Jigs came to me during my dream time, and I think he'd only crossed, I think it was the first night he had crossed, the first night I went to sleep after he crossed over. And he barked really loud in my dream, like really, really loud. And he used to kind of, as he got older, he had this signature, like one bark, like, do something for me, lady, I need help, or whatever, you know. Give me some food, pick me up, do something. Not really pick up, but help him up, or whatever it was. And he barked loud in my dream. And then he barked again loud in my dream. And I literally jumped out of bed to help him, and then I remembered he was gone. And it was his way of connecting with me through my dream. And then probably a week or 2 later, hi everybody who's saying hello. Thank you so much for being here. So we're talking about animals, signs from our loved ones in spirit, animal and human. So about a week or 2 after my golden retriever Jigs crossed over, he came to me in my dream again. And interestingly enough, in that dream, he said to me, I can help you with blank, and I'm not going to say the name of the dog. It was a client I was working with. And this dog, sadly, was starving himself to death. He had stopped eating, and he was going to die if he didn't start eating again. And Jigs came to me, like in my dream time, and said, I can absolutely help you with him. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And, you know, if there was one thing Jigs liked to do, he was a golden retriever in his life, in his physical life, was eat. So interesting that he wanted to come and help others eat. That would be him to a T. I mean, you know, if he came to say I wanted to help them do something else, I might not have been so sure it was his spirit, but it was his spirit 100%. And so what's so interesting is the next day, I was armed with that information, and even before I got to call the client to tell her that Jigs had offered to do this, her husband had taken the dog to the bank with him. It was a big dog. And, the teller had cookies, and she said, "Would your dog like a cookie?" And she started reaching across the counter to hand him a cookie to give to his dog. And he said, no, he won't eat it, because he hadn't eaten in, a couple of weeks, it seemed like. And out of the corner of his eye, he just saw his dog perk up a little bit and look interested. And he said, "Well, let me try it." And he took the cookie and he passed it down to his dog and he ate it. And he's like, "Can I have another?" He hasn't eaten in weeks. And he just passed him cookies and passed him cookies and passed him cookies till I probably went through the whole box. And I had emailed her, once it was, appropriate time to be working, and let her know, what Jigs had said. And then she shared this with me, and it was amazing. Jigs had turned that around for him. Another way our loved ones in spirit can send us signs is through songs. Our favorite songs, or a song that has special meaning for the two of us together. It can be through specific lyrics in a song. You might be listening to a song on the radio and a certain lyric stands out. I always say what's highlighted for you is the message for you. So other people might have seen that license plate I mentioned that says "See you in heaven," but it didn't even, they might not even have figured out what that message meant, or it didn't resonate. But it's like when it's highlighted, it's like there's a spotlight on it, or there's some kind of energetic charge to that thing you're looking at. Then that's how you know it's a message for you. I mentioned the feathers. It could also be shells if you live near the beach, or that kind of a thing. Another way thank you for the likes and the hearts. I appreciate that. Another way our loved ones in spirit can connect with us is through sitting down on our bed. We might feel the bed dip. We might see paw prints, in the duvet. We might just know they're with us. We might feel them laying against us, even though they've crossed over. That kind of thing. We can also catch a glimpse out of them, out of the corner of our eye. I had one client years ago, and her husband didn't believe in afterlife communication or connection. And then one day, all of a sudden, she told me that he said, I forget what their dog's name was, it's probably 15 years ago, out of the corner of my eye, when I was coming out of the bathroom, I saw him go by. And he was now a believer, because he knew that he didn't make that up. Another thing is you could smell their scent. I've known people who have, been somewhere like at a concert, and they can smell the scent of their horse that's in spirit now. So all of our senses can be involved in this. Excuse me. And our animal companions can be extremely, and our human loved ones in spirit can be extremely creative when it comes to connecting with us through the spirit realm. So really, it's our job just to look for those connections, and really to acknowledge them, and to really be open to how they come to us, and the way that they're connecting and what their message is. So thank you so much for being here. If you guys have any questions that you would like me to cover in future videos, or any questions about this that I can maybe go into more depth on in future videos, please do post them in the comments, and I'll be happy to connect with you on a deeper level. Abundant blessings, everyone. Have a fabulous day.